at 278 pounds, Mike George. Accompanied by Jack Victory. Introducing his opponent from Miami, Florida, at 224 pounds, Brickhouse Brown. This match, 1 fall or 10-minute time limit.
Brickhouse Brown, back here in the Universal Wrestling Federation to challenge Mike George here in our first match. This should be a very fast-paced match. Both Brickhouse Brown and Mike George, veterans of the squared circle. This is Mike George's first appearance here on Universal Wrestling. And he is the same Mike George that was a former North American heavyweight champion. And he joins a very illustrious group as he attacks Brickhouse Brown. And Brown showing his quickness. Arm drag takedown by Brickhouse Brown. Brown quite obviously is the quicker of the two athletes and also is in excellent condition, as is easy to see. But Mike George, as I was mentioning, former North American heavyweight champion. He's also a former co-holder of the United States Tag Team Championship. So he knows what it's like to go to for the goal and to be a champion. And he and that man, Jack Victory, have taken up the slack in Hollywood John Tatum's absence due to his car accident. So we've got Mike George and Brickhouse Brown here in our first match on Universal Wrestling Federation. George and Brown squaring off, a little stare down there as they were crisscrossing here on this opening match on the Universal Wrestling Federation. Remember, the dream team of Terry Taylor and Hacksaw Duggan against an equally adept team in Rick Steiner and Sting, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert, and I assume that Missy Hyatt will both be at ringside for that encounter later in the hour. We'll also see the Stallion from Oklahoma University, Steve Dr. Death Williams, in action as Brickhouse Brown uses a rather unorthodox escape to alleviate the pressure from the wrist lock that Mike George had applied, as George gets perhaps some pointers as far as strategy is concerned from his new tag team partner, Jack Victory. And I want to say, I've seen this team in action. We saw them in the Superdome on Thanksgiving night before 13,000 plus, our thanks to Popeyes and WWL television. And I'll guarantee you, George and Victory are an excellent tag team combination. George at 275, using his strength now to take over on Brickhouse Brown, as it's George, such a powerful man. Owns a gymnasium in St. Joe, Missouri. Brickhouse Brown now fighting back, showing his offensive spark. But George rakes the eyes. That's slowing Brickhouse Brown down, as it would anyone. George with clubbing forearms to the back of Brown. Jack Victory watching all the action at ringside. He has been very uninvolved physically in this match, which is, I think, good. As Mike George with a big right hand to Brickhouse Brown. Remember, Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts, the fabulous Freebirds, in tag team competition in the hour, as well as we continue to see Mike George methodically take apart Brickhouse Brown, but now it's Brown back with some stinging lefts and a right hand, but George did not go down. George is a big, strong man. Brown with a drop kick right to the face of Mike George from the Show Me State, and he was certainly shown a very expert drop kick there. Brown was going for the drop kick off the second rope, but George moved out of the way. This could be the deciding factor in this match, as the Russian leg sweep by Mike George. And a 3 count. And Mike George, the big man, the hammer of the Victory George duo, for the victory here on Universal Wrestling. And we've got a phenomenal tag team challenge right after this. I'm out.